This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
Ed Robertson of the Barenaked Ladies is with us. Brand new album is out, In Flight, Carry On. The first single is Clearly Lost, acoustic, like everything on the album. It's out now. It features all acoustic reimagined versions of 7 standout tracks from the band's 2023 album, In Flight. Ed Robertson, you're a friend of the show now. I think this is your third time here. What's up?
It's really nice to see you both again.
So nice to see you. Actually, I think you were one of our very first guests on the Pooja and Gurdeep show. You remember?
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Okay.
First week, I believe, that you guys were on.
And you didn't like that it was Pooja and Gurdeep. You thought it should be Gurdeep and Pooja because you thought
only rhythmically,
musically, yes.
and syllabically.
Yes.
And like in terms of like
I'm surprised you remembered that. I was going to bring it up.
I remembered. I also remembered how little power you have because nothing changed even after we told them that this was a recommendation from Ed Robertson.
It's proof that sometimes even the right idea gets missed.
Yeah. Can I tell you this still keeps me up at night? That it
Really?
should be
Does
called the Gurdeep and Pooja show? Because first I'm like, yeah, I like the sound of that. I'm like,
I wonder why.
It feels very validating that Ed Robertson,
Well, I don't know.
multi-platinum winning, thinks
What
it
do
should-
I know? I'm just a Hall of Fame award-winning songwriter.
You probably do know best, but it's too late. It's
Yeah.
too late. The branding is out. It is what it is.
Believe me, you're talking to a guy in a band called Barenaked Ladies. We would love to change the name, but it's too late.
Is that true?
Well, early on, yeah. The
Really?
band, the name was supposed to only last for one show. That was 37 years ago.
Okay,
So-
I know. I'm sorry. I'm aging myself a little bit, but correct me if I'm wrong. Did it not come with controversy when you guys did come out with that name? And people were like, "Oh, it's horrible! How dare you call yourself the Barenaked Ladies?"
It wasn't the name Barenaked Ladies. It was my name, Ed Robertson. Just there was a real fervor against Scottish heritage at the time.
So-
No, that is true.
If like revisionist history, if Barenaked Ladies were not Barenaked Ladies, what would you be?
We were going to call ourselves the Tragically Hip.
Right. That's a good one. I think that might have stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Those guys were tougher than us, though. We never would have taken them in a fight.
Well, thank goodness you're still the Barenaked Ladies because you have so much love. Your fans love you. And In Flight, Carry On. Let's talk about this album. Why the decision to go acoustic?
We've done this a couple of times with different records. I really enjoy the process because it's how all the songs start, with an acoustic guitar and a vocal melody and very little extra dressing on top. And when you go in and make a record, it's really fun to explore all the studio tricks and production tricks you can do to make something sonically very interesting. I love that process. But then it's really fun. It's also a part of every live show we do. We do some portion of the show completely stripped back to acoustic instruments and vocal harmonies. It's how the songs begin. It's how I know the song's good, if it can live in that world without any production help. It's just kind of a pure presentation of the song. It's a fun exercise.
In Flight, Carry On is out now. We're with Ed Robertson of the Barenaked Ladies, I just feel like the timing of this coming out is great, too, because summer for me is like, I don't have a cottage, but pretend I do for the purpose of this conversation. Renting a cottage, being with friends around the campfire, and like listening to acoustic tunes. Was that some of the thought that went into when this comes out, or was it just dumb luck?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we love to do, too. Unfortunately, we're almost always on tour all summer. Our 38-date tour starts June 3rd down in Atlanta. We have one show in Toronto, I think July 25th.
Budweiser stage?
Yes. Otherwise, we're in America till early August. So, it's going to be a busy summer, but I really, I always try to keep in focus. This is literally my dream come true, and it's not something I have to do. It's something I get to do. It makes going out on the road a lot easier when I think about all my really good friends that worked just as hard as I worked for as many decades as I did, and they're not going on a date tour this summer.
By the way, what's the tariff rate we get to charge the Americans for this Canadian export doing all these shows in the States?
Good question. What number would you put it at?
Yeah, the political climate is very strange right now. I like to think that my protest is just going down there, doing shows, taking their money, and coming home.
I mean, it's a nice way of looking at it. That's the Last Summer on Earth 2025 tour that we are talking about. Just curious, when you go out on tour and you get to actually see the fans, you get to hear your music and how it's resonating with fans firsthand, up close. Does that still hit you? Is that still something that you appreciate? Is it something you love doing still?
Well, I was just talking to somebody about playing the song If I Had $1 Million. We played that song, I think, every show we've ever played. I think a lot of bands have tricky relationships with their hits. They're sick of them, or they resent them, or they wish people would pay more attention to the B-side concept album they did 9 years ago, whatever it is. I love One Week. I love If I Had $1 Million. I love the theme song from The Big Bang Theory. I have fun playing those every night. And it's in part because I'm connected to what those gave us, what those songs did for our career. But it's also, as a performer, I'm able to get outside of myself and see the joy in the room when we start playing If I Had $1 Million. And it never feels like, oh, I got to play this song again. It's like I said, it's like, I get to do this. There's people dancing, singing, having the time of their lives out there. And it's because of this silly song I wrote on a school bus when I was 18 to try and entertain my campers.
I love that so much. And it's a good reminder, because even though it may be the 11 billionth time you've performed the song, it may be old hat to you. For someone in the audience, it could be the first time they've been lucky enough to see BNL, and it's their first experience.
It's their family road trip song.
Yeah.
Or it's the song that they associate with college, or it's the song they associate with their grandparents, or whatever it is like everybody has a different connection to it. For me, it connects me to all of them. So they all have their different reasons why they're connected to our band. And when I play the song, we're all connected.
And look, we're in a time right now where connection is key. We're all, after COVID, I think we all learned about how important that connection is. None of us take it for granted. But I wonder, is there something that you heard from a fan that stopped you in your tracks, whether it was a story, positive or otherwise, that just you were like, oh, wow.
Absolutely. On the last summer tour, a good friend of mine, Edward Pond, who's a local director, filmmaker, good pal of mine, he came out on the road for about a week, and he was like, how are you feeling? I'm like, great. I'm really having a great time. Feels great. Shows are going great. And I said, I think it's really important to people. It's important to us, but I really feel like we're their band. For some people, we're their band, And we do these VIP meet and greets with fans every day where they attend sound check, and then we take a photo with them after sound check. And Edward said to me, do you realize I've listened to 10 people tell you saved their lives in the last 4 days? And I was like, what? And then it kind of all fell into place, because we're meeting people and one person says, hey, my mom's on FaceTime. Can you say hi to her? And you go, oh, hi, Mom. And then the next person comes along and says, can you hold up a picture of my cat while we take this photo? And you go, yeah, sure. And then the next person says, I don't think I would have made it through 98 to 2001 if it wasn't for you guys.
Wow.
And then the next person says, you guys got me through the most difficult period of my life. I wouldn't be here without you. And you go, oh, thanks. And you take a photo, and then the next person moves along, But, and I think to not get overwhelmed by the heaviness of it, I just kind of glide through it. Mm-hmm. But then Edward pointed it out to me, and I was like, oh, yeah, for some people, it's not just important, it's everything. And that's amazing.
That's heavy. That's the kind of thing where, when they talk to athletes, Alexander Ovechkin just broke the goal record in hockey, and it's great. Like, what does this mean to you? And it's like, it's probably not something that he'd fully appreciate until he retires. He takes a break and he's away from it. I wonder if it's the same for you when the tour's done, when you get to kick your feet up and take a few months off. Maybe some of those comments, some of those moments start to marinate in your brain and really hit.
Well, honestly, for a touring, performing artist, the pandemic gave us a glimpse of what it was like to have it all taken away, you know? And lots of people had it way worse during the pandemic. I went up to my cottage and had a lovely time with my family, but it was a glimpse at a future where I'm not touring. It was taken away kind of out of my control, and I really missed it. So it's really lovely on the other side of that to come back and do it because we appreciate it and because we want to do it. And like I said, we get to do it still.
And you've been doing it for so long. In Flight Carry On is your 18th studio album. I wonder, are you at a point now with the band where it's just a well-oiled machine? You get in the studio, you know what to do, you know what works, you all
Never.
work together? Or does it?
No, it's a train wreck every time.
Is it really?
A glorious one. But that's the beauty of going into the studio is you do not know what's going to happen. In Flight is actually our 18th studio album, and In Flight Carry On takes us well into the mid-20s for records. But yeah, you never know what's going to happen. I sit down at a blank page every couple of years and try to write a bunch of songs, and I never know what's going to come out. I never know what the other guys are going to bring to the songs. There's nothing formulaic or easy about it. It's beautiful creative work, but it's hard won and it's difficult every time.
And you're also evolving as artists too. You're not
Totally.
You're not the same artist from when you started in the same breath as well. So of course the music's going to change, but it still somehow feels like you.
Yeah, well, it is still me, luckily. But yeah, as a writer, you're always incorporating new ideas, new things, and you're growing, you're learning, you're being inspired by other artists. I'm a huge fan of a local guy, Donovan Woods, singer-songwriter. He's originally from Sarnia, but lives in Toronto now. I just devour every song he releases. Every song, I'm like, man, I wish I'd written that. So good.
Gonna have to check him out. Donovan Woods? you said?
Donovan Woods.
Donovan Woods, okay.
You heard it here.
Plug for Donovan Woods. I'm fascinated always when I talk to folks who've been in a band as long as yourself, because I think about the relationships, the dynamics, because when you and your bandmates started, you guys were young adults and then still young adults for a while, I guess, and then 20s. No one's really an adult in their 20s, even though you legally are.
I'm still waiting to be an adult.
I know, me too. I still feel like a 42-year-old kid. But I'm just wondering about, maintaining those relationships. How have the relationships within the band changed? Has it been tough to sort of, because friends fight, things happen. How has that evolution been for you in the band? And have you come up with sort of the recipe for, I guess, not keeping the peace, but sort of just finding that balance between friendship and creativity and then also, space from one another?
Absolutely. And it is a balance. Communication is key. It's about respecting each other, looking out for each other, appreciating each other, all of those things. But every long-term relationship has ebbs and flows. I think we have a lot of things in our band that have led to the longevity of our band. First and foremost, we take the music very, very seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously.
The Pooja and Gurdeep Podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep Podcast.
We have like silly little rules on stage. If somebody makes a mistake, no one's allowed to look at them. And that came from seeing bands make mistakes and watching every other band member snap their head and look at the guy that just made the mistake. And it's bad vibes.
Yeah.
So we have this rule, and I think we got it from Sarah McLachlan's band originally. They were like, don't look. You can't look. But after a couple of bars or a couple of lines, then you slowly look over, smile, and give a little nod like, yeah, I heard it. But then it's like supportive rather than being chastised.
Okay,
I feel like we
selfishly,
inadvertently do that in here, don't we?
well, you call out the mistakes.
but
You're
not
like,
while it's happening.
Yes, we do.
Sometimes you're going off a cliff and live, and I will
True.
just bury my head behind my
True.
computer so you can't see it, and I won't even look at Steph.
yeah,
'cause
you
we're gonna start
protect me.
laughing.
You do protect me, and it's usually me who's going off the cliff.
But
yes.
immediately after the red light goes off, we're like, bah!
Yeah, then we start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look what you said.
So, are there any other rules? Because I'm taking notes. This is a good one. Don't look at the person when they make a mistake. What else?
Yeah, don't look at the person when they make a mistake. Listen to your bandmates. And I think another big one is just try not to be defensive. Like, we're all up there to serve the song. When you make a suggestion to somebody, it's about the song or the performance. It's not, hey, I don't think you're a good musician. It's like, hey, can you try something different there? And maybe it won't work or whatever. But yeah, not taking things personally. It's basic stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
the
like, you
thing
know-
about a band is it's not just a friendship. It's like a friendship and a business relationship and a marriage
And a family.
and a family.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so interwoven. It's so much more intense. I've spent more time with my bandmates than I have with my family over the last 37 years. You know,
It's
So
sacred. It's
it's
sacred.
intense.
Yeah. And I think you have to treat it that way. It's special.
Absolutely.
Some good lessons there. I want to finish on something fun here, and I'm sure someone has done this exercise with you, but I just thought this was stupid and funny, and I want to do it. And I'm glad you brought up If I Had $1 Million. You said you were 18 when you wrote that song?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to age you. Roughly, what year are we talking about?
We're talking 1988.
1988, you wrote that song. If you had $1 million, you could buy all that crazy stuff you listed off: a house, a K car, a tree fort, a fur coat, an exotic pet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Given where we are now, have you ever stopped and thought, or has anyone asked you, if $1 million could still buy you all those things?
I haven't actually.
What?
They certainly couldn't buy you those things in Toronto.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I
Okay.
think when my wife and I bought our first house in the beach, I think it was $235,000.
That'll get you a parking spot in Yorkville now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a down payment on my daughter's condo.
Okay, I am shocked that no one has brought this to your attention. I kind of feel good right now. Let me go
Also,
around.
what are you doing in your spare time
Listen,
that you came
okay?
up with this?
This is what happens when you don't get married. You got a lot of free time. It's me, my dog, and my computer. Let me ask you first, Pooch. Do you think $1 million could buy all the wonderful things Barenaked Ladies listed out in the song? And I can give you the list if you
Give
want.
me the list.
Okay, so a house, a K car, a tree fort, a fur coat, an exotic pet like a monkey, craft dinner, a green dress, a limousine.
Not a real green dress.
Not a real green dress. A limousine, a Chesterfield, a fridge for the tree fort, a llama/emu, a Picasso, or a Garfunkel. We're going to go with Garfunkel on that because Picasso on its own will put you way over.
Yeah.
Pre-wrapped sausages, organic. John Merrick's remains and Dijon ketchup.
So I think the stumbling block is going to be John Merrick's remains.
Yeah, I'm going to strike
Because
that from
I
the
think
record.
you could get Garfunkel to show up and do a private gig for about 10 grand.
Oh my God, it's so funny you said that. I valued that one out at 10 grand. That's what I wrote down, 10 grand. Because
Wait, hold on. You've done the exercise?
You couldn't get Paul Simon, but Art will show up.
Yes, exactly. I've done the exercise. I've assigned values. Some of them are rough estimates. And I want to know what you two think. But let's let you go first because I feel like Ed's guess is going to be slightly more educated since he wrote the song. No offense.
Also, I'm not a math person. Okay, I'm gonna go with $7.5 million.
Okay. Here's the thing. The sentiment of the song is about, even if you had this astronomical amount of money, you would just buy sensible things that you need. A little furniture for your house, nothing extravagant, a modest car. That's kind of what the message of the song is. But there's a couple of non sequiturs in there, such as very famous remains of John
The Elephant
Merrick,
Man,
the
yeah.
Elephant Man. I think Michael Jackson once tried to acquire those, or maybe did acquire them, in fact.
Yeah.
So there is value there. But I would suggest that due to the overwhelmingly modest nature of the things listed in the song, the house is going to be the problem if you're in Toronto. But let's say Regina. So if this song is set in Regina, I think you could pull it off, aside from John Merrick's Remains, for well under $1 million.
Okay, so this is like, I feel like Bob Barker. This is amazing. So you're saying $7.5 million. Ed going off the board saying, you know what, this song still holds true today. You can still get all these things for under $1 million. I'm going to go through this with you guys, okay? So a house, I took the average Canadian house price as of 2025. $678,331. So that's a big item right off the hop.
Okay.
A K car.
Vancouver and Toronto are ruining that equation.
They're pulling up the average big time. We're putting a K car, a well-maintained model, about $10,000 for a K car right now. A tree fort, there's a range there, $4,000 to $15,000. So we'll peg it somewhere in the middle. A fur coat, but not a real fur coat. There's a range there as well. We're going to put that one in at, I saw one in Kensington Market, a pretty nice one, a faux fur coat. I went to check, $549.
Okay, agreed.
Okay. An exotic pet, like a monkey, that's a huge range. At the upper end is $60,000. That's what I'm going to put it at because where are you going to find a monkey?
I accept it.
Ed, you probably got a guy, so you can...
I paid $4,000 for my dog.
Okay,
so
yeah, likewise.
monkeys are going to be more.
Craft dinner, about $350 for a box. That's not.
Yeah, but it feeds four.
But it feeds, yeah, exactly.
Wink, wink.
A green dress, but not a real green dress. I hopped on the Aritzia website. I'm putting that one at $129.
Fair.
A limousine, and to be clear, I went back to listen to the lyric. It's buying a limousine, not renting a limousine. So we're putting that at $75,000. Mm-hmm. A Chesterfield, again, there's a range. We're going to put the Chesterfield in at.
I think we're still doing pretty good here.
$9,500 for
not
the Chesterfield.
close to my number yet.
A fridge for the tree fort. I recently bought a fridge, so I'm putting that in at $1,600 for a fridge.
You should look after yourself better than that.
I live alone. It's just me and frozen dog food. Llama or an emu. These ones, I Googled these. $3,500 for a llama or an emu. Again, we are striking the Picasso because that'll blow our whole thing here. Garfunkel, we're putting it at $10,000. Again, not known as a visual artist, but let's assume there's like celebrity-style memorabilia. We're going to put it at $10K. Pre-wrapped sausages, $7. I checked at Sobeys. That's right. John Merrick's Remains, we're excluding that. Dijon ketchup, $20 because it's the fancy ketchup. It's the good stuff.
$20. Where do you shop?
Whole Foods.
Whole paycheck, more like.
Pretty much if you work in Canadian media. Okay, guys, that is everything.
All right.
The grand total, can I get a drum roll? $800,063, $868.50.
Okay.
The song still holds up with about $140,000 to spare.
That's good songwriting right there.
That is. You were thinking in the future.
I question some of those figures, but I'm going to go with it.
Oh, really? You're questioning my emu?
I mean, I lost. That's why I'm questioning it.
Well, we did
It's my job.
exclude a fairly important celebrity carcass. So
Yeah, and the Picasso.
But that could still be, you might not get to the $1 million. I don't know what Wacko Jacko paid for his remains. But.
Yeah, feel free to, listen, I know you love working the crowd when in between songs. Feel free to work that one in. That,
I might just take this show, excerpt that part, and just play it and watch people head to the bathroom.
That's the pee break.
There you go.
I love that. Ed Robertson, thank you so much for stopping by. The new album is out now, and I cannot wait to listen to this thing back to front.
Gurdeep and Pooja, I was here week 1, and I will keep coming back as long as you'll have me.
See what he did there?
Yes.
Gurdeep and Pooja.
I saw that. Yeah, thanks.
Perfect. Okay,
Thank you, guys. That was fun.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.